The high-stakes UN climate summit is underway, and we're hearing world leaders make a lot of promises aiming to end deforestation, reduce carbon emissions, and answer urgent calls to action. What has your reaction been to the summit so far?
Well, so far it kind of feels like, at least Biden and Trudeau, it feels like they're kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth. Like the other day, Biden was, talking or lobbying, actually, OPEC members saying, you guys need to start pumping out more crude oil. And I understand why he's doing that, because if you look at the price of gas, if you filled up your car recently, it's expensive. And then Trudeau is saying the same thing. We need to take action now. But at the same time, Alberta is pumping out more oil per day than it ever has. So there is a problem. And how I see it is, big oil and gas help get our governments that are in right now elected, and always have. And our governments have helped and have supported big gas and oil get big. So these two groups know how to work together. And don't you kind of want to just see them work together a little more now, like for government to provide incentives for big oil and gas to start transitioning to cleaner energy, even if it means, and these big oil and gas, I mean, they got billions of dollars, am I right? They got a lot of money. Can't they be buying out? Can't they be buying out the people that have worked for them for 30 years? As sort of like, this is not the way of the future. This is not sustainable anymore. In fact, it wasn't.
The point of money is to make more.
Smart. I know, but they can make
for them.
That's what always gets me. Don't you feel like with these initiatives, these cleaner initiatives, there's so much money to be made. Take all the money. Take it all.
But in the interim, it'll cost money, and I think that a lot of big corporations are reticent to do that because it's going to impact their stock prices. It has a ripple effect. I mean, sorry, Mel, I interrupted you. Go.
No, I was just going to say, like, it's money is kind of where it's at. I don't know about you guys, but every time these big climate summits happen, and I'm like, come on, guys, we can do it. Let's get together.
It's like a sporting event.
Let's do this for the planet. Like, we can do this. And then this one, like many others, has been like, wah, wah, wah. Like, why am I composting? Why am I recycling? Why am I buying bamboo straws? If, the world can't figure out that we need to cut our carbon emissions in half fast, if we even got a shot. And it's really easy for some days, for me anyway, to feel really dejected and what are we doing this all for if the big guys can't even figure this out? I feel like we're doomed. Having said that, I mean, I don't want to be all glum, but glum, whatever the word is. But I do think that if we do let ourselves off the hook as individuals, okay, I don't want to recycle anymore, or I don't want to compost anymore, it's going to be, I think, a slippery slope to let our leaders off the hook too. So there is that connection.
I mean, if you haven't seen the new corporation, it's up on Crave. You really should. We did an interview with the directors a few months ago on this show, and it enraged me so much that I just recently watched it again.
Wow.
And it talks about how major corporate interests, along with government self-interest and government oversight, have led to not only the environmental crisis that we're in right now, but also they've drawn links to the social crisis that we're in right now. And we know that corporations play this huge role in global climate change. And we also know that approximately 100 companies are responsible for the majority of industrial emissions, and that air pollution has actually taken down more people than the coronavirus. I think air pollution, the World Health Organization estimates, kills about 7 million people per year. And the coronavirus, between the start of it and June 2021, it was 3 million, right? So there's something to be said here for the cause and effect. And I feel like the governments need to be doing everything that they can to force corporations to change. But they're not doing that. So the question is, why? They say, there's a lot of lip service that both corporations and governments pay, but they're in bed together. Go ahead.
That's right. But even out of this, trying not to say glum or gloom or glommy, Mel, there have been some big promises made at this summit, deforestation's going to stop. 100 countries committed to that by 2030, I think. And the Canadian oil and gas industry has said that by 2050, they intend to reduce emissions to net zero. And at the summit, Trudeau yesterday said, okay, you guys said that. Now let's put it into writing, which is really, really positive. But don't you guys also wonder, going back to what you said, Mel, about the idea of individual responsibility is too, responsibility for us as well? You ever see in your neighborhood someone with 2 giant trucks that are bigger than your house in the driveway, and they don't use those trucks for work? I know Ryan has a truck and he needs it for work. What about, is this, again, maybe I'm being so naive, but if you have 2 giant trucks and you don't use them for work, what about taxing them in a similar way that we taxed cigarettes? We tax cigarettes,
Okay, what if you have a big family and you need that vehicle?
Well, do you need two of them? Okay, like maybe there are, but you know the trucks I'm talking about. You know the trucks.
I know. No, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
But there's got to be
Well,
ways.
then you get into the automobile industry, right?
Yeah,
because
I
you're taxing
know.
the
I'm being
purchase of
such a-
those. And then the automobile industry provides jobs, manufacturing jobs in so many communities. Look how it's been like devastating to certain communities when an auto plant closes down, and we haven't had like the backlog, you know, as we said, investing in new industries to create those new jobs. So to Cynthia's point, this is all cause and effect. Like, you can't just do one thing without asking for the effect and consequence to change in another thing. And
But there's a path.
But the
There's a
world
path. His
runs
name
on
is
fossil
Elon
fuels.
Musk. I don't want to, you know, no, it is, but he's the first trillionaire. Like, Elon Musk is a trillionaire partially because of Tesla. So there is a path forward financially speaking. It is very lucrative to go the way of renewable energy. It's about the bravery of what government, whether it's here domestically or around the world, what government is going to say, I'm going to sever my relationships with big oil and gas, and I'm going to maybe start to lobby the Elon Musks of the world and renewable energy companies, and I'm going to see if they want to support my campaign, and maybe we make a turn. Maybe we make a turn.
Yeah, I mean, I like your hopefulness, and maybe there's something there. But I do think most corporations nowadays are talking about all of the things. Look at all the things we're doing to help with the environment. And when you actually start to do a deep dive on that data, it's less impressive. I mean, and sometimes it's quite detrimental. I think what's going to take is some whistleblowers. I believe people are good. I believe even people who work for corporations that are kind of not the greatest are good people there. And I think that those people, when they start to notice that actually this company that claims to be doing X, Y, and Z for the environment, and they're actually doing something in complete contradiction, I think people need to come forward. I think that consumers need to be more aware of that too, because we are also a part of this whole thing of we get whipped up.
I actually think we're a bigger part of it. Yeah, because companies are going to tell you that they're making products and services for us, and we are eating it up and can't stop.
no, we can't stop.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they've
you're
also
talking about
programmed
oil
us to
and
be
gas.
addicted to.
Well,
those
you're right.
products.
I mean, when Jess is talking about oil and gas and going to OPEC and, you know, making sure that there was enough supply because worried about the supply, it's consumption.
And the
it's,
price,
It's
yeah.
regular people. It's people like us getting in our cars, driving to see a friend, going to see, I don't know, a movie, going on a road trip. Like, it is, you're right, Cynthia. It's about consumption. It's about our, like, what we call
But if
our
the
human
price-
nature right
if the
now.
price stay high, would it, I'm asking you guys like this question, if the price stayed high, would it make you think twice about using your car?
already
in some
doing that. My
cases, in some cases, it's not high price. In some cases, it's low price, like fast fashion.
Right.
Fast fashion is lower priced. People say it's actually better for the environment to invest in pieces that are more expensive that you wear for a long time rather than the fast fashion we see all over Instagram. Like, this is a small example, but how many people out there, from influencers to television hosts, are willing to wear the same thing over and over again and not
okay,
in
but
their
wait a minute.
outfit?
Made a
The
bigger
corporations-
difference.
This is a small
it's
thing,
not,
but
is
if you
that
think
going to
about what
really
it,
make the
the
dent?
dyes and the water and all of that is used into clothing.
All of it helps, 100%. All of it helps. I do not want to say none of it helps. But when we take a look at the fact that there is literally the top, I think, 1 or 2 countries, China and the United States of America, they're the worst polluters, number 1 and number 2, and they are responsible for over a third, if not pushing higher than that, of all the world's carbon emissions. And so again, sure, I can slow my roll on shopping, which I've already started to do, and go consignment and all these really cool things, which are great. But I am nothing compared to 28% of the world being polluted by one country.
I
So
get it, but you're
that's
right
the
that
push and
China is
pull.
the world's biggest polluter. But one of the reasons why China is the world's biggest polluter is because so much manufacturing from around
us
the
that
world
we buy.
goes into China because the labor is cheap, like phones, lots of clothes. Like, look at the label of, I bet you at least one of the things that we're wearing today is made in
Absolutely.
China. So I get it. China refusing to come to the table and come with new commitments and really not cooperating on like a world scale is legit. Yes, call them out. But at the same time, the reason why China became such a manufacturing force is because people around the world, aka us, were demanding things to be made in China so that they're cheaper. I mean,
For faster and cheaper
as
and cheaper
Cynthia
and
said,
cheaper.
cause and
Yep.
effect. Like, you can, I don't know that we can remove one thing from the other and our own personal responsibility from it.
So I'm going electric with my next car. I just want to put that out there because this has been weighing on my mind so much. And I do have a larger vehicle, but it's like, what are the things I can do? I'm doing two big things. I've said to my financial planner, I am pulling any money that I think is from, oil and gas. And I want to really start to look at my portfolio and say, where is the renewable, sustainable energy? What are the Canadian companies, especially that are leading the charge? That's a difference I feel like I can make. Those are the companies of the future. And I want to go electric with my vehicle. But I don't know about my bamboo straws anymore, guys.
Boy, if you can afford a $100,000 car, big one, you can afford a little bit of extra tax on that. But it's time for a break.